Hi, so this video is going to show how to install and use the Hebrew keyboard that I created for our class and for the Aleph with Beth course. So it's a two-part process. First, we need to install the Keyman software and then the actual keyboard that I created. So in any browser, we're going to navigate to keyman.com. That is KEYMAN.com. And when you're here, you'll click on products and then choose Windows, Macs, Linux, etc. My keyboard is not currently functioning on the iPhone and Android. That's going to be a separate package produced at a later time. We're just worried about the desktop versions for now. All right, so for this purpose, I'm recording on a Mac, so I'm going to click on the Mac one, and I'm going to go click download. It'll come up with the most recent version of it. I'm going to click download now. It's a really quick download. Going to open it up and double click on that to install Keyman. Just follow the prompts, get it installed. It's going to open up your system preferences and say that it would like to enable a third-party input method, and you're going to click OK. So in your system preferences, all of this can always be found in the future at keyboard, and then you're going to come in here with text input, input sources, and edit that, and you can see that now we have a US keyboard and a Keyman keyboard. And you can also change any settings here that you might like to do. So like, for example, show the input menu in the menu bar. You're going to want to make sure that's selected because you're going to use that constantly. It should already be there, but if not, make sure to toggle that on. All right, and that's all you need to do for that section. Keyman has successfully been installed. You can read all of those if you need to, but I'm going to guide you through the rest of that process. All right, so in the upper right-hand corner of your screen now, there should be a white box with an A in it for representing the American keyboard. And we now have a Keyman keyboard. So we're going to click on that, and you'll see that it toggles the little icon up there. And now we want to go and click on configuration. All right, so we're going to keep this open over here for a second. And then we are, you'll access this in a few different ways. I'll put the link on Learning Zion, Facebook, everything, my Dropbox folder that you can download this. So it's a zip file that is called Aleph with Beth. Don't worry that my version is called Aleph with Beth number 2. I'll fix that by the time that this is done. I forgot to do that before I clicked record. Okay, so once you unzip the folder and open it up, you're going to look for the file that has the icon and the KMP file extension. And you're going to click and drag that over to your Keyman configuration window over here. And that's it. So I'm going to close out of those things and bring up my internet browser. And then I've opened up a Google Doc here so that we can see what it does. So to toggle back and forth between the American keyboard and the Hebrew keyboard now, we come up here to that icon and select whichever one we would like to use. So if we're in American, we're there. And if we want to change it, we come up and click up here, click on Keyman. And if you have multiple Keyman keyboards installed, you would also need to come down here to keyboards and select which keyboard you'd like. So, you know, like if we get into Greek and any other language that you want to type in, you can install multiple keyboards there. So now that that's selected, we can start typing and it'll automatically start going right to left. You won't have to change any settings to do that. But let's get this bigger. Yeah, let's go like 50 points. And then you're going to see that An Aleph in Arial and an Aleph in Times New Roman is totally different. Well, I mean, not absolutely different, but by default, work in Times New Roman is going to be a lot easier as you're learning. The system default for like Apple, like when you're working in Notes or Keynote, etc., it'll default to a sans serif font, and you're just going to want to stick in Times New Roman. That's the easiest way to go. Times New Roman, and pick a big font if you're presenting in a class like I'm doing. you can do smaller if you want. So it's pretty intuitive as far as most of the sounds that a Hebrew character makes is corresponding to where it is on the American keyboard. So like tav sound is on the T. It doesn't follow every single one because, like, for example, the S sound, we're going to type an S, and that is a samach, but we also have a sheen and a sin that could also work. So you'll have to play around with it. I've got a character map. If you ever want to open up the character map, you can also come up here and click on the keyman thing icon and click on on-screen keyboard. And that will bring up this floating window rather. And you'll be able to see where all of the things are. So like if I hold down the shift key, you'll see that highlights on the on-screen keyboard, and you'll see what the characters now do. And you can just click on those and use those for now if you'd like. So let's practice with Bet, Sheen, and Tav. So Bet is going to be where our B is. But we do want the dagesh in there. So we're going to hold down shift, which shift basically puts the dagesh in all of the characters. So we want bet, and then we're going to release shift, and then we want the letter right next to it, which is our current V key. This is sheen, and then we want tav, which is our current T. And then you would write or type the vowel directly after the letter that you want it. So for example, let's go to a new line, and we want a bet, so shift B, with a patah underneath it. So we're going to click the A and put the patah underneath. So now we want a sheen, which is the letter V, and we want a kamatz. So we're going to do shift A, and that does the kamatz. We want a tav with a kamatz. So we click T and then shift A. It's going to take a little bit of getting used to, but compared to all of the other Hebrew keyboards that are out there, this one is by far more intuitive. And like I said, I'll have printable key maps that you can print out and use so that you can type quicker and faster on your own and learn how to practice. So you can make digital flashcards this way. You can start communicating on Facebook using the Hebrew letters and doing all of that. So yeah, if you have any questions, let me know. Again, this is specifically for a Mac, but a very similar process for both PC and Linux. Yeah, let me know if you have any questions.